You mentioned Eastman. Look, throughout American history, lawyers have made creative legal arguments, right? The rules, one could argue, encourage lawyers to make creative legal arguments, but obviously there has to be some line that's drawn. Um, is that an inconsistency as you see it?
No, I believe that we're going to get Eastman acquitted. All of his advice was within the boundaries of propriety and legality. Um, it was some of it was way out. I would call it creative, very creative. But I believe we're going to win the Eastman case. I have very little doubt about it. It may end up on appeal because not all trial judges understand this stuff. Remember, a lot of the trial judges were former prosecutors. That's how they got onto the bench. They have a mindset that is against the defendant. But on appeal, I expect that we would win. If we don't win the trial, I expect we're going to win on appeal.
Do you think this is a case that should have been charged under the RICO statute?
No, RICO is a monstrosity. It was a monstrosity in the federal system, and it's a monstrosity by the copycat states. The reason is it's kind of a conspiracy on steroids. Conspiracy law is very dangerous. Conspiracy law basically says if two or more people get together to plan a crime, whatever is done by any one of them is attributed to all. And so in a conspiracy, you are criminally responsible for what somebody else in the group does, even if you have not given explicit consent to what that person does. It's the reason, for example, if three people rob a bank, their goal is to get money. One of them shoots a teller and kills a teller. They're all guilty of murder. And that's because they agreed to rob the bank. They are responsible for what somebody else does. I've always thought that that's a very unjust rule, but it's an old common law rule that's been around for hundreds of years. Now, that is very, very unfair in the context of a political prosecution, because you should not have everybody in a large group of people whose goal was to re-elect Donald Trump. You should not have all of them responsible for what everyone else does. And that's obviously going to be a major part of our defense. I expect other defendants will raise the same thing. There are some people who what they did was arguably criminal, but there are a few people, particularly the lawyers, who what they did was not illegal. And as long as they're not held responsible for what somebody else has done, they should be acquitted. So the challenge in these cases will be that those who represent, especially lawyers, who have provided lawful advice, not be held responsible for what somebody else did.